Good day, all, and welcome to another edition of Local Legislator Live at 11. I'm your host, Charles Gates. This is a component of locallegislator.net, where our mission is to be the premier source of local election information in the United States and an advocate for the sustainability of local business nationwide. Joining us this morning is none other than Jodi Slaughter, owner of Launch Out Coaching and Consulting. Good morning, Jodi.
Good morning, Charles Gates. How are you, sir?
If I was any bright, I'd be a star up in the sky.
Pretty bright.
It is a pleasure seeing you this morning, and I love your green shirt. My mother's favorite color is green. It's not mine, but whenever I see it, I think of my mom, so that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Well, let's jump right into this, Jodi. What was the inspiration behind Launch Out Coaching and Consulting, and how long have you been in business?
So I was doing a lot of contracting for companies, and I found myself helping them revamp their policies and procedures, revamp how they do things, their hiring practices. I was training the owners of the company, and then I ended up training their team members. And one day I went to go meet with someone. I was looking for a job, and a different job. And he said to me, I can't hire you. And I was like, and I looked at him and I said, well, I'm qualified. He said, you're overqualified. And if I hired you, you would be the smartest person in my business. And I can't do that. And he said, so why don't you start your own business? I was like, well, all right then. Okay. So I did. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but at that time, but I did. And I unofficially started it in 2013 and officially started it in 2014.
What an inspiring story.
Yeah.
What an inspiring story. Now, what is your mission and vision for the future?
So, sorry guys, I don't want to leave you out of this. I really am called to women in every walk of life, and in every service that I provide, it's really a service for women. And I really want to lead women into uncovering their identity and purpose by helping them heal from their past wounds and walk in who they were created to be unapologetically and confidently. So whether that's transitioning out, one of my clients was transitioning out of the military and didn't know what she wanted to do after. And then I've had a client who wanted to start a bakery but didn't want to start with a storefront. And so we had these events, and now she's in business. She licensed her business. She's saving money to open up a storefront. And her mission is to help single moms to be able to take care of their children. And so that's her focus. And whether it's women deciding to go back to school, changing careers, starting businesses, or one of my clients was recently divorced and trying to decide what's next. She felt like she had gotten lost in her marriage and raising her children. And then after her kids left home, it was like, what do we do next? And so I'd like to be able to build a team of women who do what I do. I believe that as a leader, it's important for you to duplicate yourself. And so ultimately, that's what I want to have happen, because I'd like to travel nationally and internationally and do these types of things, but also speaking.
Now, speaking of women, do you target, or is your tribe young women, older women, in between, or anyone that's looking for that something?
Honestly, so my youngest client ever has been 27. My oldest client has been 69.
Okay, so every person in between. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds like a winner. Now, exactly, you're also a business consultant.
Yes.
Exactly what does well, I know what a business consultant is, but for our viewers, explain to them, what is a business consultant in terms of what do you contribute to a business person? Is it a person just starting business? Is a person that's in business, been in business for a while, that needs some help? What exactly is that, and what do you do?
So it's all of the above. It can be someone who's starting a business and doesn't really know what that looks like. Because found that a lot of times people have other people write their business plans and they don't know how to implement what's on that business plan. It could be someone who has been in business, but their business isn't as profitable, or has not been as effective as they would like for it to be. And it can be someone who's been in business for years, but they're in that lull. And they need to jumpstart their business. And so what I do as a business consultant is I come in, I look at, you tell me what it is you feel like you need. I do an overall review of your organization, and I tell you what needs to be fixed and how it needs to be fixed, and then I'm out.
Oh, okay.
So I
Okay.
don't do the work in fixing it, but I give you the blueprint for how it to be fixed. Now, if you decide once I give you the blueprint that you need help fixing it, then we move over to the coaching side, and that looks very different.
Okay. Okay. Can you give us an example of what that looks like, a real life true story in Jodi's world?
Yes. So my background, so I'm a psychotherapist by trade. So my background is, I was in corporate America, and then I went to mental health, and I was contracted by this mental health company to come in they were getting ready to get started, but they needed to know how to do that. And so I went in and reviewed all of their policies and procedures, their manuals that they had, and mapped out, where you are now and where you want to be. And so how do the things that you already have in place help you get there? And what I did was create a map for them to upgrade their policies, procedures, and manuals. They didn't have a hiring process. I helped them create a hiring process. There were some other pieces of the business that they wanted to add on. And so I mapped it all out for them, wrote it up, gave them a nice little package. And 2 weeks later, they called me back and said, we really want to do this. We don't know how. Now, can you join us in doing this? And so they contracted me as a coach at that point. And I worked with them for 6 months. Actually, it ended up being a year. I worked with them to help them onboard all of the changes that we had discussed making, until they were able to do those things themselves and hire people within the organization who understood their vision and understood their mission, who could assist them in carrying it out. And so that was one of the most rewarding things, when my clients can say, bye, we no longer need you. It's amazing. It means you've helped them accomplish their goals.
Now, do you feel, Jodi, as though there are a lot of businesses out there now that could use a business consultant that don't? Do you feel as
Absolutely.
though, yeah?
Absolutely. I think sometimes when we've been in business for so long, we do the same thing the same way, and we don't know that there's a different way of doing things that could, number one, take pressure off the people who work for us, improve their productivity, add value to your company, add value to the services and products that you provide, so that your customers keep coming back, but that they also refer people to you, and also help your business run like a well-oiled machine. I think just like we take our cars in for tune-ups and oil changes and regular maintenance work, our businesses need the same. And I think some of us just become so indebted to the way we do things that we are not open-minded to doing something totally different. So yeah, I absolutely do.
Hmm. It's a very interesting take on that. And if you are a business owner out there, you heard that perhaps it's time to reach out and get a fresh perspective from a third party, because you
And
don't know what you don't know.
absolutely. And I think now that we find ourselves reopening businesses and restarting the economy, and most businesses are trying to move to a different type of platform, and they don't know how to transfer where we've been in, a brick and mortar business into one that's online. I think definitely you need somebody to help you come in and help you reorganize that, and to help you figure out what it should look like now, because what you did in the brick and mortar store is not going to necessarily work the same way online.
Mm, very interesting words indeed. To our viewers, if you like this interview, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, connect with us on Twitter and Instagram, and like our Facebook page. And remember to leave us a comment telling us who or what you would like to hear from next. We will do our best to get that person or that organization on the air. Jodi, you mentioned the COVID. How has COVID affected your business?
Actually, business is going well. COVID forced me to slow down, pause, and take a breath, and to sit with what I was doing and to decide if I continue doing it the same way, what is it going to look like at the end of this year, at the end of next year, 3 years out, 5 years out. And it forced me to revamp some things. It forced me, I'm taking some online classes. There were a lot of free classes offered over the pandemic. I took a lot of free classes, got a lot of certificates, because I feel as a business owner, we should always be looking to improve ourselves first, and then our organizations. My coaching mentor, Omar Periu, would say that it's not about making the millions, it's about who you become on the way to making the millions. And I believe that self-awareness and self-development and personal development are very important. And so I've spent this time really switching everything over to online, creating more programs, creating more content, and honestly, Mr. Gates, connecting with people and collaborating. I feel that that is a very important way of growing your business, especially when you have an online platform. It's collaborating, because when you collaborate with people, it's two organizations, two people coming together, and you both get access and exposure to each other's tribes, but also it helps you just sharpen what you do, because that person now is an accountability person, it becomes an accountability partner for what you're doing. And that has been really amazing for me. And so business is going really, really well. I really need to work on starting to duplicate myself so that I
And,
can.
and I know you mentioned Mr. Omar, and I
Yeah,
know one of his words is get off of your rough.
yeah, yeah.
Get off your rough. That is so true. And speaking of Mr. Perry, I had a chance to meet him through our mutual connection with Profit Partners.
Yes, yes.
Look at your face, just smiling away. Jodi, tell our viewers out there a little bit more about Profit Partners and the benefits they can award.
So, Profit Partners is a networking group where business owners, small business owners, people who are utilizing MLMs to run their own businesses, come corporate. Some people are corporate, some people own franchises, where we come together and we grow each other's businesses through referrals. But first, we develop personal relationships. Our executive president, Tony Williams, always says people have to know you, trust you, and like you in order to do business with you, but also in order to refer people to you. And so Profit Partners has been around for 20 some years. And Mr. Williams was a part of that. And it was only on, when he joined, it was only on the peninsula. And he felt like it needed to be across Hampton Roads. And so he started before I ever got involved and initiated the Virginia Beach location, and we grew to several other cities across Hampton Roads. But we're still passing, even though there's a pandemic and we're not meeting face to face right now, we are still passing referrals. We are still interacting with each other. We're still Zooming it together. We're still hanging out with each other. And we're still helping each other's businesses grow through personal relationships. It's a safe place for you to learn how to do business. It's a safe place for you to make mistakes. It's a safe place for you to ask questions. It's a safe place for you to say, I don't know that. And I didn't know that before I got into business. And how does that work? And what do I need to know in order to keep my business afloat? And most of the people that I've spoken to in Profit Partners during this pandemic, their businesses are growing and booming. And yes, Ann Thompson was with Sarah Blaine Jewelry. She is now making masks. And who knew that something she loved to do would, help her make more income in the pandemic. Mary Jagana, she is with Rodan and Fields, and she is killing it. Like, she is killing it. And she sent me a text message that her last paycheck was the highest it's ever been. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. And I think that another thing is that Profit Partners helps hold you accountable to the goals and the dreams that you've stated are important to you. And so while we help you build your business on one side, we helped you build yourself on the other side and help you identify what it is you really want out of life. And then we partner with you to help you achieve those goals.
Fantastic. And I will tell you, besides the collaboration, the accountability, I like the educational pieces that Profit Partners gives, because when you go there, you leave with something that you did not know, and you ask yourself, wow, you know what? I didn't know that, and now I have another ingredient to add to my mix that's
Yes.
going to make me a stronger business owner, not just in terms of profitability, but in awareness.
Yes.
And that is a key component, at least for me, being a part of Profit Partners, besides meeting wonderful people like yourself and everyone else is involved.
Thank you.
Now, Jodi, our last question for you this morning is, how do we find out more about you and the services you provide and launch out coaching and consulting?
Well, there are a couple ways on social media, all social media platforms. I'm Jodi Melissa Slaughter. That's Jodi with an I. I have a website called launchout.coach. And you can also reach me via email at jodimslaughter@gmail.com.
So in other words, you're easy to find.
I am easy.
And as a business owner, we have to be easy to
You
find.
have to be visible for people to find you. Absolutely.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jodi, for being here. And to our viewers, make sure you tune in tomorrow for our guests, which will be Virginia Beach Clerk of the Court, Tina Sinnen. On Thursday, we have the James City County Director of Elections and General Registrar, Diana Mormon. And on Friday, Richmond City Council candidate, Mr. Reggie Ford, will be joining us. Make sure you tune into that, because it's going to be a plethora of information. And if you're really worried about the ballots and this big election time, make sure you tune in for the next few days. Each one of these wonderful people are going to touch on their responsibilities in terms of how that works, because there's so many questions out here that people just want answers for, so much uncertainty. Make sure you let your family, colleagues, and friends know about Local Legislator Live at 11. Again, this is on YouTube. Like Jodi said, we're on all the social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, you name it, we're there. And again, Jodi Melissa Slaughter, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure seeing you again, even if it is in a virtual space. But that's
Thank
the way the
you.
world is these days. Any parting words for us, Jodi?
Whatever you do it well, do it authentically, be true to the people you serve, and have an amazing day.
That is wonderful to leave with. And I will leave you, the viewers, with this. Local Legislator Live at 11. Remember, we're not global, we're local, through locallegislator.net. Take care, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye.